In the last two videos we were talking also about the ninth house, and today again we have a consultation and we have a beautiful Venus in the ninth house. We have a beautiful Parivartana with the 11th house, so we have this Dviguru yoga, Venus and Jupiter, so I couldn't resist not to share this example with you. So we know that Venus has to do with the comforts, with luxuries, with the cars, all the nice things in this world. We have a special term for this. This is the ihaloka sukha, which means the material blessings. And we know that Venus is the main karaka or the significator for the 7th house of relationships, and is also the sub-karaka, so the sub-significator for the 4th house of properties, be it immovable or movable. We have cars, we have properties, also the gadgets, the items we collect. So all these things which are giving us or supposed to give us the pleasure are all in the 4th house, and this is all Venus. So if you have nice Venus, then you have a lot of blessings related to these things, and especially in the 9th house this may show something out of the way. It can surprise you, but now in the positive ways, because we have a super positive yoga related to the 9th house, two most beneficial planets having the Parivartana with the 11th of gains. Today's video we are again going to the consultations review, and very interesting chart, but the hour was only 3 p.m. so we had to rectify the chart. And basically in the Rashi chart we have the discussion between the Cancer and the Leo, and when the moon is in the 3rd house we should be able to recognize the nice pattern between the micro and macro world. And if the moon is in the 3rd house, the Utpana Dasha should work. So if the child comes in the time of the 9th house or 5th from the Venus, and this is there in the Dasha, then definitely the Cancer would be right. And we get to know that the first child was in the Jupiter Antardasha and the second child was in the Venus Antardasha. And we observe 9th Lord is Venus, and Venus is the dispositor of the 9th Lord. And of course, as usual, we have to confirm that in the Varga chart. And we see that Jupiter is in the 5th house in a chart of children Saptamsha. And also Venus is with the 7th Lord Saturn. So in the Saptamsha and in the Rashi, we have this confirmation that the Karka is right. So definitely we see that the one is accurate. Now let us go to the Navamsha, because we have to also rectify the Navamsha chart. And here we have this dilemma between the Pisces and Aquarius. And we know that the person is earning from the properties and also with the interior design, the hotels, and also the business related to makeup and things like that. So definitely there is a lot of Venus. So at the first sight, we would like to have Mars and Ketu related to the 10th house in the Navamsha. But we need to be very, very careful here, because we have this Trikona yoga here. We have Ketu in the 2nd house and Mars is in the 6th house. So based on that, we see that this Mars and Ketu, which is showing the apartments and lands, will also influence the 10th house. So the Pisces will also be a very viable option. Now, what is very important is that the person had the 2nd marriage in Ketu-Ketu and the divorce was in Ketu-Venus for the 2nd one. So we see that Ketu is in the 2nd one, and the 2nd house in the Navamsha is showing the 2nd marriage, and the Venus is 3rd Lord, which is showing the end of the 2nd marriage. So very strong chance for Pisces Lagna. And what was most important, there was aggression, there was violence in the marriage, and for this we need to have Ketu Mars in the 2nd, 6th, and few other houses. So here we have Ketu and Mars are occupied by this, and that was in the 2nd marriage. So now we are 100% sure the Lagna is Mina or Pisces. And if that is true, then person should also earn from teaching or tutoring, because the 10th Lord will be Jupiter. And also we have the same connection in the Rashi chart. The Jupiter is very strong candidate for being a source of wealth for this person. And that was true. The person was also managing the whole tutorship and educational activities related to the European Union, and this is very much now solidifying the whole story, because 9th house has to do with those kind of international type of institutions. And in the Dashamsa this is also confirmed, because we have Sun in the 10th house. So I was asking, have you been working for a government or with the big companies? Because we have very strong pattern here in the Rashi, Navamsha and the Shamsa. So this was confirmed in that manner. What is also very important, we see that these fiery planets, Ketu and Mars, in the Rashi chart, in the main chart, they are influencing the 2nd from Venus. So therefore we say that till the marriage everything seems fine, but the whole problem is starting after the marriage. This is very nice tool by which you can differentiate if it's the problem to getting married or the problems are after the marriage or within the marriage. This is based on the 12th and 2nd from the Venus. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it for today. I hope you find this video interesting and informative. If you do, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe with the bell notification on if you like to see similar videos in the future. And now let's go back to the video. Now with the Venus in the Navamsha Lagna, the person should be very good at the sales or management or advertisement, had very good aesthetic taste, and this is also the Atmakaraka, so this is giving very strong person. Because this Venus is in exaltation in Rashi and the Navamsha, this is giving someone who is having the fortune, because Lagna in the Navamsha is showing the Bhagya. This is someone who is like a queen, because Venus exalted as the Atmakaraka is having such very strong energy. And as we know, the Venus is the significator or the Karaka for ihaloka sukha, which are the material pleasures in this world. We know that Venus is the Karaka or the significator for the 7th house and the secondary Karaka for the 4th house. So all the networking, the relationships, the comfort, the luxury, it's all the Venus domain. So definitely the person will very much enjoy all those pleasures, all those comforts in life. Because we have already told a lot about the 9th house in the 2 previous videos, we can appreciate now the side of the 9th house, which is 3rd house from the 7th. This has a lot to do with the deals or agreements. We also say that 9th house is the party because it's the 3rd house, which is the kama from the 7th, so of others. And this is here very important because we see that those 7th house part of the chart is very much pronounced. We have 8th house very strong with the Sun and Mercury. Mercury is also very much related to wealth, to the rajas. So we know that the person will depend very much on the wealth of others. Even if the person will start business herself, inspiration or how it started, it could be somehow developed by the marriage or relationship. And this is all because this is the 3rd house from the 7th. So this is like agreement, this is like helping, because the 3rd house is also the right hand. And the Karaka, the planets, which are Venus and Jupiter, showing the spouse for the lady, are also confirming that side of the story. It started with the marriage, with the relationship. And also very important part of the 9th house is something which is seasonal. So the part of the wealth, because we know that wealth is in the 2nd, in the 5th, in the 9th, in the 11th. So that part of wealth, which is related to the 9th house, has very much to do with the seasonal or something which is related to studies, nature. So this is also definitely there. So we have something international, institution. Now we have something which is depending on the agreements of others, and something which is seasonal and like a party. And that is all very much confirmed. And in the Dashamsa, the chart of career life, we can get more details how it will exactly manifest. So now if we add few more things to the story, because this is Atmakaraka, we know that this part of life will be very, very important. We also know that 9th house may show the last part of life, so we can see a lot of blessing, but also a lot of importance in that part of life. Because it is 4th from the Sun and 11th from Arudha Lagna, now we know that this Venus is showing not only some kind of personal circumstances or maybe the preferences, but now we know this is all about wealth. And we know that the main business of this person is making the properties beautiful and then selling it. So we see that Mars and Ketu are very much showing the wealth, but how it is manifest, it is through that Venus. Because this is 11th from Arudha Lagna and this planet is exalted, now we know this is a huge wealth waiting. We have this connection to Jupiter. In this, we also have this teaching those institutions and managing those institutions. It's all there. And finally, because it's not only 4th from the Sun, which is showing the wealth, but it's also dispositor of the Jupiter, we know that this type of wealth is also demanding the ability and skill. And is also, again, a confirmation this Venus in 9th is all about the wealth. So when we have only the Venus in the 9th, then we are talking about the connection of a Venus, which is the luxury, the marriage, something which is beautiful, to the 9th house. The 9th house can manifest as a higher studies, specialization, some institution. This is something seasonal, fortune. This is like a luck out of control, but in positive way, something which will surprise us positively. But if that is not connected to the points of wealth, this can be something else. So we need to have those connections to the wealth points to be sure that this Venus in 9th house is telling the story of our wealth or business or our income. One more thing which is also very important to notice is that we remember in one of the last videos we were talking about the Venus and Saturn and about their power to instigate the business, because we have a very strong indication of the 7th house. There is this Digbala in the 7th house, and the Venus is also the Karaka. And in this chart we have 10th house in the Navamsha. There is also very strong connection of these two planets because Saturn is in the 10th and is aspected by Venus, by Rashi Drishti. Again, sign aspect is much more important in Navamsha than the planetary aspect for these things. And additionally, we have this Trikona Yoga. So the planets are in the 5th and 9th from the 10th. This is called Arta Kona. This is the special triangle from the 10th house. And there we have this Ketu and Mars. This is the blessing of the properties. So at the first glance, as I said, it is quite easy to put just the Aquarius Navamsha and then to have this Mars and Ketu being loading the 10th house Scorpio, but the rest of the chart and events and life will not fit. So we are staying with the Pisces Lagna. We are seeing the big role of the Venus here is also for getting wealth, and we are also including this property source by including the Trikona Yoga to our analysis. If you stayed with me until now, huge thank you. Show me some love by hitting that like button. For one-on-one session or consultation, please hit me up in the email below. Don't forget to connect with our vibrant community using the Discord link in the description. Hit that subscribe button for the regular dose of our videos. And if you are hungry for more, please consider this one.